Ahora. There you go. Lovely.
Whoa, man.
Girl, just took it so far.
All right, kick us in.
Okay. Hallelujah.
Chris.
Okay.
That is...
Let's pray in. We don't need to pray in. Fine. Oh, no, we do. God is good. God is great. Let us thank Him for this day.
Amen. Okay. Kristen clearly doesn't know how to bring things in.
Oh, I do. What are you talking about? We're letting it flow.
It's okay. We're just doing us because she...
No, but we're starting before we start.
We are starting before we start. Amen. You know, God touched this opportunity, this moment, this area, this situation.
Improv, you don't say no.
Trust me. Yes, improv is yes and.
It's yes and, exactly. So yes and me, Miriam.
Okay, I didn't know. Okay.
Exactly.
All
yes
right.
And. Yay! We're here. Another day. Another
dollar.
Yeah. How did you know, Mary? How did you know what I was going to say? You see, we're in sync.
Yes, we are. Kind of.
Yep.
Somewhat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait, but hold on. There was something I was going to...
Okay, Chris.
No,
we'll let you get your thoughts together. We don't want the audience to wait.
Here's the thing about waiting, though. It's so important to embrace the idea of waiting and silence, and not to just feel like we have to,
Well, you're going deep very fast, and let's just reel everybody in. You know.
Well, we're back and we're official right now because as you can see, things are looking up.
Well, they can't see because it's a podcast, but we do have a digital component. So yeah,
well, they will see because you know why. BTS. But if you catch the beat, yeah. Anyways, all right. So, Miriam,
hey,
how you feeling?
Chris, I'm good. You know, just refreshed and ready to go. You know, I'm excited about where God is taking us.
Yes.
You know,
as a unit and individually.
Yeah, the last podcast really touched on relationships, sisterhood, friendship. So the last episode. Yeah, so just really happy to touch on what we have in store for today.
Yes, well, of course, all the podcasts should really touch on that in some variation.
Absolutely.
Because that's what this is all about, a gathering.
It is, a gathering of sisters.
A fellowship.
Of friendship. Sistership.
Exactly.
Okay. That's great. No, but it's so funny because we haven't really been touching base a lot like this week and last
I was
week.
Thinking about that.
I know. I usually call you every day.
Yeah.
And like I said on the last episode, if she doesn't answer, I just continue to call. So it only happened a few times the last 2 weeks, Mm-hmm. Today was one of them, but that was because I needed you.
Yeah, she needed.
You didn't answer.
The problem is that we had literally just got off the phone. And then I looked at my phone like 2 minutes later and it was like 5 missed calls from her. So you would think that she just literally had gotten into an accident or something. But no, she just wanted to know what I was wearing. That's all.
Well, let's be clear about this though. Since we had just got off the phone, the expectation.
My phone was on silent.
The expectation is.
Remember I said about silence in the beginning?
Anyway, the expectation was that you would answer because I had just got off the phone.
And that's the problem, though. That's the thing. Expectations. It's called good. We got people in the back. But yeah, I like that. We're gonna talk about that one episode. Is having expectations. Ooh, did y'all hear that? Having expectations versus just
the reality, or versus
having an idea of what something is supposed to look like because of what you're used to or what we want.
Well, I would associate that with an expectation versus reality. Expectations is something that you're envisioning, something you're anticipating.
All I'm saying is,
and reality is what it is.
Okay.
So the expectation for me, and you know what the expectation for me was that you would have answered the phone. So I kept calling you because I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know where you were, who you were with, any of those things.
But one missed call will do. To know from
5 will get the point across.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yes.
It's great to be here right now in this place because Miriam and I were talking about like the season that like the season that not only we're in right now, but the season of just what it is for like our other friends around us. Like just like it just seems to be like the year of like transition, the year of like the shakeup a little bit.
And also like to add to that, the year of kind of transition, but also like boldness and really just being able to like really be bold about some of the things that you have on your mind and on your heart. And the funniest thing is, I wanted to tell you what happened today. So, and it ties in perfectly. So I needed to get the key fixed on Kim's car. So the unlock button, a valet driver had broken it, and he had this energy. First of all, I should have known something from the jump. So I pull up to valet, and this guy, the valet driver, is like just sweating profusely, and he's a little heavy set. Nothing wrong with being heavy set, you know. I'm inclusive, but he just like had this just like urgent negative energy. So he was just kind of like all over the place, and I was like, you know, hey, how you doing, sir? You know, I believe in combating that with positivity. Plus, we was on 6 in La Brea, so I can't act a complete fool because I'm black, and you know, the police are called. They'll take me first and ask questions later. So you know, it is what it is. So I like pull up. I'm like, hey. He's like, yeah, download that. And I'm like, okay, you know, relax. I'll make sure I download the app. Be careful. I was like, because the unlock button is a little wonky. Yeah. I got it. So he takes the car. I go to the meeting. I come out to pick up the car. He's like, did you download the app? I'm like, I already did what I needed to do, sir. It should have been sent to you already. He was like, oh, okay, it is. I said, as a matter of fact, you want me to go get the car? Like, I could get it myself, because his energy was just, it was still rubbing me the wrong way. And the spirit said, ask to get your car. Oh, you want me to get the car? He's like, it's all the way down there. And I was like, oh, okay, well, handle your business, sir. You seem like you, yeah. So he goes, and he comes back, and he's standing across the street, like, flagging me down, like, jumping up and down, flagging me, like, hey, come over here. You got to get your car. It's not working. And I was like, what? And he's like, the key. I'm like, what are you talking about? So he's like, the key isn't working. So I said, well, I told you it was wonky. And he was like, well, this is how you gave it to me. I said, no, that's not how I gave it to you, because how did I get in the car?
Right.
So then I said, you know what? I ain't gonna even press this issue. Lo and behold, we had to have AAA come and open the car. Luckily, the key component could start up the car. So we was good on that end, but the unlock button had broken. So I was like, you know what? Whatever. I planned on, you know, I wanted to get her car. I wanted to present her with her car better than she had given it to me, because she allowed me to utilize it. And that's a word right there within itself. You know, shout out to Kim Monks. When someone gives you something or someone entrusts you with something, you do your very best to make sure that you give it back to them better than they gave it to you. Not because you owe it to them, but this is the form of respect. Like, I respect you for entrusting me with something. And I believe that, you know, I would want you to take care of my stuff the same way. So we call a locksmith. He pulls up to the house, and I'm like, hey, the unlock button is broke. We can start the car. Everything's good. It's just the unlock button, so we can't get in the car. He's like, okay. So he like gives me a whole rundown of like what all it's going to take, what all needs to happen.
This is today?
This is today, okay. This morning. That's why I couldn't go, you know. So he's like, oh yeah, it'll be $465. And I was like, nah. So he was like, you know, I said, nah. I was like, it's good. We good. We'll go to somebody else. And he's like, okay, hold on. So you already know, it made me feel like I was in a car dealership. You know, everything's always a haggle. Like, why we just can't just be $100? So he's like, we could do, I just talked to my boss, we could do $350. I said, nah, I'm not even doing $350. In my head, I anticipated like $200, $250 was my max. So I was like, I'm not doing that. I'm not paying that much money. Like, we could go to the dealership, we could go somewhere else. Yeah, but it's convenient. I'm coming to you, blah, blah, Persian dude. And I was like, okay. I said, well, I understand what you're saying, but what I'm telling you is I'm not doing it. And I was like, I'll call the dealership. He like, okay, cool. So he walks away. I'll call the dealership. Dealerships say that they close, call back on Monday, but I stay on the phone a little longer and say, oh, okay, cool, thank you. Act like I'm inquiring about how much the key would cost. I got my degree in theater for a reason. Okay. That's one.
Godly.
So dude comes back and he's like, okay, how much did the dealership say they could do it for? I said, they said they could do it for $250. And he was like, okay. So he walks away.
They said they could do it for $250.
Yeah, no, they didn't say nothing at all. They said call back on Monday, actually, is what they said. You do it.
We're going to talk about white lies versus...
Okay, let me tell you something. Because I was saying, you do what you got to do when moments arise, okay? So he comes back, he's like, $280, but that's the lowest we could go. So, okay, I'll take $280. Y'all done came over here, y'all about to do it right here on the spot. Cool. So he's like, it's very hard, and just goes down this spiel of like why it's so costly. And I'm like, I don't care. If you're doing it for $280, do it for $280.
Right.
So he's there for like 30 minutes. And I'm like, this is not convenient anymore. Like, I'm hungry. My family's hungry. We sitting outside watching them work, and I'm like, well, work your magic, sir. So he comes back and is like, oh, well, you told the people that it was 2012, but really it's a 2013. So the key that I've made can start the car, but the unlocking won't work. And I was like, he was like, our system goes to 2015. So Eric's like, even if she told you it was a 2013, you just said that it was a 2015 system, so it wouldn't have worked regardless. So then I got hot because I'm like, okay, now you're trying to put it on me. Like, you're trying to blame this on me. Like, it's my fault that I said 2012 instead of 2013, and your system was a 2015. So I go off. I respectfully, so I'm popping off. I'm like, no, I'm not doing this. We're not about to be waiting. He like, it'll take 1 to 2 business days. I said, no, that's not convenient. Give me my money back. So he's like, oh, like you don't want to wait. It's just a little patience. I said, I don't care what it is. You told me that it would be ready today. So my anticipation was it would be ready today. You gave a whole huff and puff spiel about how expensive it was and how you got to do all these magical things and you can't even do it. So he's like, I'm not perfect. I'm human. I get what you're saying. However, this is still a service. And I don't want your service anymore because I'm not waiting till Monday or Tuesday max for you to fix my... No. If you're going to do it now, that's, we big on that. If you say you're going to do something, you better do it. And if you don't do it, be prepared for my reaction. How you going to be mad at me because I don't want to wait for you?
Right.
It's a service, sir. We'll see you later. Girl, so I went off. And he walked away. And I turned to Eric. I was like, I ain't go too far, did I? And he was like, nah, I'm actually proud. Normally it's me going off. I was like, cool. We're even. And I was like, in that moment, it reminded me of literally where I am right now in life, not only just work-wise, not only just ambition-wise, just overall is just being extremely bold and just stepping out on what I know I'm worth and what I believe, my beliefs. So that one moment I was just like, normally, I normally just chuck it up or or passive, you know what? But I was like, no, I'm not doing this. And literally just with where I am, it's this spirit of no, I'm not about to take your little crumbs because you feel like you can give them to me. Mm-hmm. That's fine. Give the crumbs to whoever will take them. But I'm not taking crumbs no more. I want the whole table. I want a feast, I want a meal, and I want everybody else to eat with me. So it's really that moment of knowing your worth. And I knew my worth and value. My money means something. Yeah. So if you can't get it done, run me my money. He was like, well, it's going to take 5 to 10. I'm not broke. Right. I will wait for my money. Then he got on the phone with whoever he needed to get on the phone with and was like, actually, we found a key. I'll be back today at 6. I wasn't even trying to deal with the 6. But Eric was like, you know what? All right, give me your information. So the key's coming at 6.
Got it.
This is what happens when you just really are in a place, and that's where I am, a space and place where I'm just not for just the nonsense and the BS and just being all right, cool. I don't want your crumbs. I tell Carlton that all the time. I don't want your crumbs. I want the table. We not gonna take what everybody else. That's fine. You can get out to whoever will receive it, but I want the table.
Now you want the table.
With the feast.
With the feast.
With the feast.
Now, the thing that stood out to me about that, though, is you also not only, like, stay integrity with yourself, but you hold other people accountable when you, like, actually speak upon, like, what you're trying to, like, or what you want, like, or what you expected them. Like, he came to do a certain job and he couldn't do it in a certain way. He said that it was going to be this way, and, like, you held him accountable to what he said too, by, like, bringing it out and just, like, also just saying what you're not going to do, because it's like for him to, like, make all those people going to bend, people going to compromise, like, or people are going to step up their game, or people are going to meet you where you're at when you stay in integrity with yourself. Like, people are, and if they don't, then you keep it pushing. But I'm just saying, like you kind of be able to, you can test or kind of see how far people are actually willing to go when you stand in your own integrity, and you know what you're, like, going after, and, like, you know what you're here for, you know what you want, what your goal is. So I think that that's the biggest part to me that stood out about that, because I think that that's, like, when we start to recognize more value within ourselves, when we have moments like that where we really stand in our own integrity, we know what we are worth, like you said, and we just, like, we know where we're trying to go, so we don't compromise that for little. It don't matter if it's a key or if it's a job, like, you know what I mean?
No, because it pours into each other. I hate when people make this assumption or stuff like, oh, you know, when I get big, X, Y, and Z ain't gonna matter no more. No, you practice those habits now. That light bulb ain't gonna just click on once you hit a mill. Like, no, absolutely not. Like, that light bulb ain't clicking on when you making $10 an hour. Like,
right.
So it's true. Being able to, even for small things, those things, they all just feed into each other. So no, I agree. You know,
that's real. And, like, that's one of the biggest things, like, even right now in my life, what I'm really clear about where I'm trying to go is, like, I'm trying to move out. So, like, this is an example of, like, that I could share, is that, like, me trying to move out, like, I'm so clear about why, like, about my intentions, about why I'm doing it, about why it's important to me, about, like, how I feel like this is, like, my time to do it. Like, I feel led, I feel like I'm in position. But it's just interesting, like, the responses that I get from, like, my family and stuff like that, and even some friends are like, oh, you lucky to be, like, able to, you know, live with your mom or live at home because you get to save. Like, stay home, save your money. And it's like, okay, that's maybe your, like, your goal, your dream, or your, like, what you feel like is ideal for you. But, and even my mom, like, saying the same thing, like, I don't know why you don't, you know, people, you got it good here, blah, blah, blah. Like, people, like, you know, people would wish that they had this. And I'm like, okay, that's people. But, like, I'm in a different position right now, and I'm very clear that this is what I'm doing. Like, I'm, you know, like, I'm not sorry, but, like, I'm, like, you know, absolutely. Excuse me if you feel like a certain way, that you feel like it should go a certain way, but I know that it's not even about what people are focused on. They're focused on the financial aspect, but I feel like my mental health, my spiritual health, my, like, even my, like, my business self that I'm trying to grow, that it's not really going to really advance if I'm staying in this same environment, like, literally in this physical environment. I need to shift that, and that's what I feel like my motivation behind wanting to move is like, I need to shift my environment. I haven't stepped outside of my comfort zone in that level, and I want to create that space for myself to be able to really, like, and, like, even, you know, choosing their roommates and stuff like that, like, really being able to say, like, okay, who's going to be in alignment with where I'm trying to go. So, and realizing that how much, like, your physical environment really impacts the way that you move, bro. Like,
speaking of that, let's just, you know, give a shout out to my husband when he let me remodel the living room and stuff, because, you know, the environment makes a difference.
I'm really so
glad that you reaffirmed that in me.
No, seriously, it really does. It makes a difference. Like, you gotta, like, when something, especially in your life, like, a lot of times we try to, like, fix other things, and, or, like, you know, maybe it's like a relationship thing, or maybe it's like a, I don't know, just like, maybe we go to clothes, or we want to buy stuff to make us feel better. But it's like, you got to pinpoint what that thing is that you need to actually, like, focus on to shift in your life, or whatever, that will really, like, build that momentum within yourself. Because I remodeled my room, like, 2 years ago, and that was cool for the time, but I'm like, now I'm like, okay, like, now it's time. Like, I got, you know, it's a lot of different things, but I think that it's stuff as simple as that, like, really, like, you imagine, like, really just could make a huge difference. And I'm like, it's just gonna put me in position to, like, have to hold myself accountable financially, like, better, and, like, have to do things just a different way. And that's gonna pour over into every other thing. Like, if I'm living by myself, if I'm paying rent now, like, having to pay rent for my livelihood, I'm gonna want to, like, I'm gonna be like hustling. Like I'm gonna want to like tap into the creative projects that I've been like just been like putting off sometimes, or I'm like, oh, okay, I can do it whatever later because I don't have that financial accountability as much as I, can or whatever. And so all those things like tie into one another. So
well, and what I get from that is, and this is for any and everybody listening, the idea of not folding, like everybody has different callings, different goals, different aspirations in their lives. So sometimes when people tell you things, it's based off of where God has called them. And other times, sometimes you really got to be strong in yourself, in your faith, and just who you are in your ambition to really say, okay, cool. Like, I appreciate you for telling me that, but that's just not where I am, and being able to take what you can from that, but hold on to what you need to hold on to.
Right.
And that everybody's not going to be on the same page all the time or understand where you're going all the time. I mean, I joke with Carlton about this all the time. Years ago, he was like, yo, I'm gonna quit my job. And this had to be like 7 years ago. And I was like, dude, Urban, yeah. And I was like, dude, why are you quitting? What you gonna do? And he was like, I don't know, but I'm gonna quit. And I was like, I don't know, just really telling him like, and I had the best intentions for him. Like, my heart was there. I really I always want him to win, and we gonna win. But I just was like, I don't think this is the move for you. And he's like, nah, I gotta go. I'm gonna leave. I don't know what I'm doing next. And I was like, God, dog, this boy gonna be a broke boy. He ain't gonna have no money, no car. I'm just like, oh, man.
The funny thing is,
okay, we'll talk about that in a second. But then once he quit and he left, and next thing you know, he is the youngest radio personality on KJLH. And it's like, for me, and I tell him all the time, and we joke about it now. One, I wasn't in alignment with what God had called in his life. But two, it was literally, I was like, I'm so glad you didn't listen to me. Where would you be if you would have listened to everyone? Where would we all be if we would have listened to what people who were scared to step out on faith or, where really would I be? Would I be getting a master's right now? Would you already have your master's and be in the field of social work and counseling and, just those ideas? Now, when you left your job, though, I was in a different level of faith, Chris. I encourage the Lord. Yeah, the Lord put that on my heart for you.
But that makes me think about, too, like, Maisha, you were at that service, right? The one she did last week?
Yeah, I was there. Yeah, okay, don't call me out like that. I was at church.
Okay,
that's how the church folks be trying to get you. They be like, I don't know if you was at the service. Were you at the service? I was. Okay, got you.
Just kidding. But anyway,
it was a great service.
But what she's talking about, talking about taking, knowing when to leave something and those risk levels. But then it's really sometimes a contradiction because it's like you can choose to stay and you still could you could still have those thoughts of what if, and then you could choose to go and wonder what if. It's like that. It's which what if do you want to deal with? And so even with me choosing, I left my job in March, and so I didn't have I never had that experience of leaving something and not having another thing planned. But I feel like that was the best move as far as leaving a job, as far as choosing to move forward. I feel like that was the best way to do it, that I didn't have anything planned, because that brought me the most clarity that I could have asked for. Is just really being able to create or leave myself in that space of just unknown. So it took me through a lot of just spiritual I don't want to say warfare, but just a lot of internal stuff came up for me in that season that I was not working for 4 months in between the time before I got this current job. So that just brought up a lot in me. But I think even still having my own space is that's gonna be a whole nother shift and transition in my life that's gonna, I think, bring out a lot of things that I need to deal with, or things that I need to that's just gonna push me or whatever. But bros, just that's the year. This is the year of the boldness, of stepping out.
Yes, truly, just where we are in our lives, where a lot of our friends, a lot of our colleagues and associates are right now, is truly just this area of being bold. And be bold, be unapologetically bold. One thing that I noticed about different races and ethnicities is they know their worth most times, or especially, our lighter pigmented friends, they know their worth. They truly do. They know their worth, and they've been taught their worth from birth, you know, and for us, just this idea, our Black and brown people, just knowing your worth and not settling for anything less. Like, you know, there's a really thin line. And I think oftentimes we accept the crumbs. We just like, oh, okay, this is what you're willing to give me. And I tell all my friends all the time, like, you know, they say, oh, well, whatever you can afford. No, what's your rate? Like, I want you to know your worth and I want to honor your worth. Right. So always know your worth and your value and don't fold on that. Like, nah, we don't have, you know, humility. Absolutely. We still hold on to that. But I know I'm dope right now. Like, I know I'm dope.
And I want to go back because I know you always talk. I mean, we'll talk about it later. But like the pigmented thing, that like skin tone is one thing, but like gender, like I feel like it's like the female race as a whole has been like accustomed to that whole submissive, that whole like not really knowing our worth because it was like that, you know, being in that background or playing that supportive role to where that's why I feel like right now this is like the best season for even this platform to be created because it is starting to like be a change around that narrative, like seeing a lot of females like just really like step out, females of color too. So on top of that, like, you know, really stepping out into their creativity, being bold, but still be having that conflict within themselves more of being able to like be confident and like be even like, you know, like telling somebody their rate. Like you might have your business, but you might still struggle with like sticking to your price or what you charge and things like that. And so that's why I just feel like this movement is just so apparent right now, where everybody is like really. I'm super just excited to see that everybody's really trying to step out and do their own thing, like create their own business, you know, their own platform.
Making our own lanes.
Right.
Like if what you see or what you want to do and what you want to be isn't out there already, make it yourself. You know,
like shout out to the Lane brand, you know, make your own. You said make your own lane.
Make your own lane.
Asia, you know, Asia.
Best friend. But really being able to, it's true. Make your own lane. It's okay. Be you and walk in it.
Right.
Walk in it. Accept it. And as women, you know, we are. This is a time and just a perfect season to just. To do it. Do all that you can. Be all that you can. And, you know, hopefully you walk away from today's segment just knowing that it's okay to be bold and it's okay to know your worth and it's okay to be vocal about being bold. It's necessary.
It's necessary
to be. That's true. You have to. You need to. You need to stand up for yourself. You know, people will support you and they'll back you, but it's nothing like being able to have your own back 100% to be able to rock for yourself and with yourself unapologetically, regardless if you got a crowd or if you don't got a crowd.
Right.
So really just, that's my nuggets. Those are my drops.
Yeah.
You got anything to leave them with?
My final nugget would just be like in creating like your own thing, platform, whatever it is, know that I think we kind of already said this, that the support is there. No, regardless if it's already been made, it can be made again and it can be collaborated with. Like collaboration is key. Like, you know what I'm saying? We doing stuff right now that's like, you know, she got what you got going real quick?
You know what? I do. I'm launching my event business, doing event coordination and decor and decorations. And me and my partner, Carlton Epic, we've really teamed up with Project Pitt to create some cool stuff. So I got two things really going big, which is Dorsey Designs. Stay tuned for the website and everything like that. And, you know, Project Pitt got some great things going. So I'm excited about that.
Right. So these events, they're going to need caterers, people, you know, people cook out there. These events are going to need supplies. Like, so it's always something there. Please, people to blow balloons, you know what I'm saying?
Okay, so
you need a little balloon arch.
You on the team, though.
I know, exactly.
On the team.
But sometimes you got to just
all right.
tag in.
I'll pay your worth, though.
You know, God bless. But anyways, that's about it.
Yeah.
That's a bit of our little
hopefully you guys have enjoyed this segment and, you know, the ideas that you guys leave with something and also that it's entertaining. So hopefully it was pretty entertaining. You know, one of those things, either entertaining or you receive something or both. But, you know, without further ado, we're out of here.
We're outro, folks. Catch us next time.
Yeah, be blessed.
And highly favored.
Yep, we're in sync.
Chris and Meems.